Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you guys are at, kung saan man kayo nanonood. Welcome to another episode of The Virus. It's me, the Josh, your host tonight, and I am here to bring you so much value with our amazing guest, all the way from the nation, the country that no one else has ever been to, Wakanda. He is one of the pioneers of e-commerce in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching right now from Bounce Back Network, Voicebox University, I would like to welcome you guys to the show. Please bring in all your friends, all your family members, anyone, your business partners, because tonight we're going to talk about how you can build an empire and why you should continue to build an empire that lasts. Right? So alam ko madaming nanonood sa atin. We have a lot of friends who are entrepreneurs, businessmen. You know, we're not just gonna talk about mindset tonight, no? Hindi lang basta-basta mindset, but we're gonna talk about passion, purpose, and perseverance. How do we discover passion? How do we discover purpose? And how do we discover perseverance despite everything that's happening all around us? If you guys just tuned in, again, my name is Josh Vasquez. Call me the Josh. And this is the only show where we spread the good kind of virus. You know what? I don't want to make this long. This introduction is long enough because I'm so excited to meet the man behind the Wakanda nation here in the Philippines. He is behind the nation, the Wakanda nation in the Philippines, in the industry of e-commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring with you right now, with me is the founder of OJMD Solutions and OJMD Drop Shipping Philippines. This man has a lot of dreams, visions that he's just making it a reality as we speak right now. He is the founder of an amazing community, Philippines e-commerce and drop shipping community, one of the biggest, if not the biggest e-commerce community in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to find out how this man created his Wakanda empire in e-commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you ODERA Joseph. Brother, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, ODERA.
Thank you very much, bro, for having
Thank you.
me.
Thank you for being in the show. We have a lot of people watching. I hope you shared it already on Facebook. We're live right now.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we're live.
Awesome. First and foremost, man, I love your background. Wakanda. Really,
Wakanda
Wakanda's
forever.
crazy. Wakanda Forever. What is a man from Nigeria doing in the Philippines, building his own Wakandan empire? You know, before anything else, the title of our show is Wakanda Forever, building an empire that lasts. ODERA, for those people who are watching right now, maybe we have some folks who this is the first time that they saw you. This is the first time that they heard about you. And we know that you are the founder of one of the biggest groups in e-commerce in the Philippines, and also OJMD Solutions. Tell us basically what you do. What is OJMD about?
All right, so OGMD, basically, I'm going to start with the name. So the OJ is actually Odera Joseph, and the MD is my partner, Meridiana Mendoza. So we started OGMD. This is going to be funny. It's just a web developing, freelancing stuff. I used to work in Upwork, so I just call it OGMD because just two of us. The objective is just to build websites for people because that's what I do. And from there, we start developing the vision and trying to find a way to incorporate the name solutions in e-commerce. So basically, right now, our OGMD to me means I want when people hear the name, they think about solution, automation, easy process, and hassle-free, processes in e-commerce, especially. So basically, the name OGMD Solutions will bring solutions to entrepreneurs and e-commerce people in the Philippines.
I love that. I love that. So OJ is your first name, and now
Yeah,
Solutions is there. So
yeah,
you know what, man? Like I'm just so honored to have you here because I heard a lot about you. I've been seeing a lot of activities in your group, and your your posts are funny. You know, it gives me a good laugh, especially when you call some people out, when you get some people, when you talk about ads and how they do their
Yeah,
ads. It's just funny.
yeah.
You have a sense of humor. Um, tell us what is a guy like you doing here in the Philippines, and why did you think of coming to the Philippines and building your own empire here? I know that you come from a family of 10. Is that right? Tell us a bit of a background about that. Where did you come from?
Okay, I come from Wakanda. I'm just kidding. Actually,
I knew
all right.
it.
I come from Nigeria. It's West Africa. That's the biggest nation in African continent. So I come from a
Yeah.
family of 10, five boys and five girls, and I'm
Wow.
the last boy in the family. So the fifth boy. So yeah, I just came to the Philippines. Initially, the Philippines wasn't my idea. Actually, I came to the Philippines because that was the other option aside from going to Europe. And when I came here, I didn't come here for e-commerce. I didn't come here for anything. I just came as a tourist, actually. Then from there, I decided to study here in the Philippines. So I'm actually an IT student and technological institute of the Philippines.
TIP,
Almost
right? Is
graduate.
that TIP?
TIP, yeah, that's
Yeah,
TIP.
yeah.
All right. So while I was studying, that's when I started, seeing the e-commerce because while I was here, I was actually doing drop shipping. I started all the way from AliExpress back in 2015, 2016. So I was running my drop shipping stores then while studying. But I looked at the country is still a baby when it comes to e-commerce. So that was piqued my interest. So from there, I started thinking, what if we could create our own? We could be an e-commerce powerhouse if I joined to help the pioneers in the country, make Philippines, give Philippines that authority when you talk about e-commerce in the world. So that's what made me focus my attention, bringing e-commerce local and making it something that we can be proud of here in the country as well.
Right, right. So you started out as a student,
Yeah,
and eventually, I'm pretty sure you got to hang out with a lot of Filipinos who are ITs as well.
yeah,
Um, what was the driving factor? Because you stayed here in the Philippines. Are you married to a Filipina?
yeah. About it, almost.
You're you're almost. Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
congratulations in advance, right?
Thanks.
So I know you have amazing little soldiers, right?
Yeah,
How
yeah,
how many you have two right now? Is that right?
yeah. The twins, Joe and Seth. Actually, I just cut my name into two. I I had a hard time deciding the name. I just divided it. So you take Joe, you take Seth. So basically, that's the
You're
name.
Joe, you're Seth, and that's how we figured it out.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah.
amazing. That's amazing. Okay, so tell us about that. You mentioned that when you saw the atmosphere, let's say the business atmosphere of the Philippines, and you saw how e-commerce was. What year was that when you felt like it was a bit young? It was I'd say it was pretty raw. What year did you see that the e-commerce in the Philippines was pretty raw?
I mean, I've already had an eye in Philippines way back from even in around 2014, 2015, but I didn't have a first hand experience. So basically, when I was here, that was in 2016. That's when I noticed that the country still needs some work when it comes to e-commerce. So yeah, around that year, 2016, then 2017 ongoing. Yeah.
Right. I love that. And you started out with drop shipping. So take us back because you're influencing a lot of people with what you're doing, right? Little like without you recognizing it and with you recognizing it as well. There are a lot of people watching right now that have been influenced by you. And by the way, if you guys are tuned in, comment below, show your support to the Wakanda King. Look at these people showing support, commenting. Come on, we want
Wakanda
to give a
forever.
shout. We want to give a shout out to everyone who's tuned in right now. I have ODERA Joseph here, and ODERA, no, tell us when you were thinking of providing solutions, why not just provide it back to your own country? What gave you that mindset that I'll do it here in the Philippines?
Well, I'm not gonna compare Nigeria and the Philippines when it comes to economy. Honestly speaking, the Philippine economy could be better, and I could provide the same solutions back home, but we lack the 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 potential is there, but we lack the drive. I mean, um, first of all, our logistics back home is bad, you know, and Nigeria as a whole. If you know, when you hear Nigeria, what you think about is scam, right? So
Yeah.
the whole world, they gave us that identity, and it's going to be hard to do e-commerce when it involves online transactions. So there's no trust in the internet when it comes to Nigeria. So and currently I'm in the Philippines. I have no plans of leaving anytime soon. So that's what makes the decision easy to do it here instead of going back home.
Right, right. So that's basically one of the major reasons you were looking at it on a strategic standpoint, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and when you think of e-commerce, it pretty sure, and I think a lot of people know this, during the pandemic, it has skyrocketed, crazy skyrocketed.
yeah.
How do you see Filipinos, because you deal with a lot of them, obviously, like the markets here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
um what do you think are characteristics of a good entrepreneur who will be going to e-commerce or is about to start in e-commerce? What are characteristics that they must have that are non-negotiables? If you can give me three, a lot of people will benefit from that. What do you think are three things that are non-negotiables that every entrepreneur who will be in e-commerce should have?
Okay. So, well, not the non-negotiable. No two ways about it. Number one is, um, should I put it in order or just random? Okay, I'm just gonna go randomly. Random. Number one is
Random.
willing to take the risk. Actually,
Okay.
that is not negotiable. It is not, and I'm even pointing it more down to Filipinos. No offense here, actually, but Filipinos, they don't. They it's like, how do I put it? They're not instantaneous like the US or Europeans. A Filipino, before they go into something, before they spend on something, they're gonna beat around the bush, spend, ask a lot of questions. But when asking the questions, they're looking for the bad side of the answers. They're not looking at
Mm-hmm.
the bright side. They're looking at the wrong ones, and they're gonna hold on to that. Okay, so with that, that's gonna draw them back. They're not willing to take it. E-commerce is a risk. Actually, when I was doing dropshipping here, I used my tuition fee to run ads, and my
Yeah.
parents thought I was still in school. But I run ads with a tuition fee before I get it back. I lost some of it actually. So
Wait.
risk
You were
is
you were
not.
you were a student. You were a student, and
Yeah,
you were
I was
using
a
your
student.
tuition fee.
Yeah, that was 36,000. That was a semester. But for foreigners who pay
Okay.
more, 36 to 46. I use it for ads, but luckily it came back. Some I lost it. But the point here is risk is not. You don't negotiate that. If you cannot take the risk in
Wow.
e-commerce, you can do it. You're gonna quit too
Hmm.
soon. Number two is to learn. Okay, you have to be open to learn. There's no god in e-commerce. Even as I am, people will think that I'm a god, I'm a master. They call you Lodi. The point is that we learn every day. So if
Yeah.
if you're not open to accept or to learn, or to have the willingness to learn new things every day, you're gonna quit soon, because e-commerce moves every day, and you have to move. If you don't move, it will overtake you. So what we know last year could be working on Facebook, could not be what right now. It might not work anymore. So you have to upgrade. You have to be open to learning. And the last one that is not negotiable, I think this one is hard to choose actually. Well, the last one that is not negotiable is acceptance. You have to learn how to accept. Okay. And the point there, some of the entrepreneurs that will start, and immediately they fail, they think of stopping or quitting. You have to know that you have to accept that failure. You have to accept that you're going to fail. Because if you don't fail, that means you're doing something wrong. So these are the three things I feel that you cannot negotiate those characters. You need it so that you can stay strong, because e-commerce is all about the survival of the fittest. All right. So for me, those are the three picks. I'm going to say you cannot negotiate with those ones.
Love that. I love that. And from what we're talking about right now, those are, would you say that these are the qualities that you have with you that brought you to where you are right now?
Well, I learned the last two. The first one I
Mhm.
already had it, risk.
Yeah.
Actually, I came to
Even
Philippines.
even before, that was a risk.
Yeah, yeah. Coming to Philippines was a risk because
Yeah.
the people I was gonna meet, I met them on Facebook way back in 2000. So we just chat on Facebook. That was a family, Filipino family in Bulacan. We just chat through Facebook. We've not met each other, and they helped me with the invitation later. I just started coming to the country. I don't know anybody. I don't have any hotel reservation. I just risk. I know that I'm going to meet them at the airport. So coming here was actually a risk. So what if they dumped me in the airport? That would have been worse, right? So I had bricks already. But the last two, I learned it, especially acceptance, because I came into a country where you said I have a sense of humor. I learned that here. I'm not always like Nigerians. When you see us, we're kind of mean, but not that we're mean. Our face looks mean, no sense of humor. But when I start dealing with Filipinos, my
Yeah.
first year here, I was very mean because it's my first time in the country. Everybody asking too many questions. What's your height? What do you eat? Blah blah blah. But as time goes on, I learned how to accept the Filipino way, and eventually taught me how to, um, you know, have that sense of humor. That's why you see me when I interact with them, everybody's laughing. So the last two, I learned it here actually, but risk, I always had it.
I love that. I love that. And you talk about you having that risk. Where did you learn that? Is this something that you got from your family, your parents? And how did that, besides you being here in the Philippines, how else has being a risk taker allowed you to really be where you are right now? Besides, tuition fee and coming to the Philippines, what are some of the biggest risks that you have had in your life?
Hmm. Some of the biggest risks I've had. Well, there's a lot, and one of them was actually just back home in Nigeria. Actually, 'Cause I'm not gonna, dig deep too much into the family, but obviously, when you were born into a family with multiple wives, there's always a problem, especially it's unbalanced, right? The other side had four boys, and my mom had only me, so it's kind of a war that you cannot win.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Yeah.
biggest risk, considering my age then, was actually to leave the house, to leave the house and go live with my uncle in a very far away city. So, at my age then, I'm gonna consider the biggest risk I've taken. Considering here in the Philippines, you cannot even leave the house at that age. Your parents are not gonna
Yeah.
allow you to do that. So for me, that's the biggest risk. And right now, the biggest risk that I'm taking is actually trying to attempt, I call it attempting the impossible. I'm trying to launch a POD platform in the Philippines. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we're just going to do it anyway. So those are the two biggest risks. One I've taken it, one I'm about to take it. So we'll see how it goes.
I love that. I love that. And you keep on starting. And would you say that, being a risk taker also gave you that attitude of being a creator? Because you are a creator. You keep on creating things. And that's why I guess OJMD is all about that. It's all about finding solutions and
Yeah.
giving solutions. But before you give a solution, I guess what you guys do is you find problems to solve.
Yeah, you have to find a problem first. So, like I said, Philippines is still a baby, so it's easy to find problems. So there's a lot of things that we don't have here that I feel that we could have and not depend
Mm.
on those from abroad. All our applications, all our solutions are made by Filipinos. So we, with the state of the e-commerce infrastructure now, I think there's a lot of problems that needs to be solved. And I don't want to solve it alone because there's also others involved in solving it. So all of us are all working together to have solutions to those problems. So yeah, that's what I think. It's easy to find problems now in the country in e-commerce.
Right. Give us an example of what happens in your mind, Odera, when you think. Because would you consider yourself a smart guy?
I don't know. I'm gonna let others judge that.
Come on. Do you think you're smarter than average?
I don't know. Actually, I've not done an IQ test, but I don't know. All I know is I think. I'm not gonna say I'm smart because,
You
yeah,
think. I
I
love
think,
that.
yeah,
So you think more. You think more. You like
yeah.
to think.
I'm gonna say so. Yeah, I like to think.
That's a safer way
That's
of
a
doing
simple way of saying it.
it.
Yeah,
Because I love that. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot. You've been creating web hosting, email hosting, all of these IT things, and these are all related to the course that you have. Would you say that
yeah,
your course were you able to finish it?
yeah. Almost done. I should be done this year, but the pandemic. But yeah, mostly, most likely
So
2021 we're done.
so it's crazy. You're still trying to finish it while you're
Yeah,
already building your empire.
yeah.
Why is that? Why is that?
In Nigeria, if you don't finish your college, your mom is gonna kill you. So you have to
Yeah,
finish
wait,
it. Yeah,
well, okay. So at least when you go back there, well, here is it.
yeah,
Here's my
yeah.
diploma. Okay.
You graduate. Yeah,
Right, right. But because a lot of entrepreneurs, myself included, I did not finish college, and maybe a lot
mm,
of people don't know that. But I'm creating my empire in the process. But this is amazing because you get I took broadcast communication and you took IT, information
yeah,
technology, right? So it's pretty aligned to what you're doing right now. Would you say that you were able to find your passion and at the same time find, would you say, your purpose?
yeah. I would say so. I would always love to be. I always love the IT field. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what I want to do. Dealing with computers and solutions and creating. So that's just it. It's my passion. That's why it's easier for me to navigate both waters, e-commerce, and school. So I think, yeah, I'm in the right. That's my passion. That's why I love them.
Right. And you say that you love this. You love IT. Has this ever been with you? This love, this passion, has it been with you um, way back in Nigeria? Because how's
Yeah.
technology there?
Technology is good. Only that Nigerians are smart. There's a lot of technologies, and we are most likely inclined to IT. That's why you see, that's why the government cannot help the young Nigerians. They're gonna use it for scamming. They hack into banks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the talent is there with us.
Really?
Only that, yeah, the talent is there. Just that the government is not helping the youth. So that's why you see most of us, the young Nigerians, they just leave the country to find somewhere,
Mm.
people or where to harness that talent. So most of us are inclined to IT, the guys. So I think it's just there since I was in school. I just want to be in the computer field.
Right. Right. And now you're here. Would you say that you've fallen in love with the country, with the Philippines as well?
Well, I love Philippines, and everybody knows that.
You're not just saying that. You're not just saying that.
I'm not just saying. Everybody knows I love the country, so it's clear.
I love that. Well, what would you think? Okay, from your perspective, from someone who's a lodi in the e-commerce space, what do you think is something that if you were to advise or give advice to people in the government, what do you think should they do to the Philippines in terms of developing and supporting e-commerce space and even the IT sector?
Oh well,
That's
and normally I
something
don't
big.
like. Yeah, it's big because I don't like talking about the government issues in the country. First of
Well,
all,
if
I'm
you were
still
to
an
contribute.
okay. Okay, because Wakanda is neutral, like
Yeah.
I am just kidding. But
you
fairly speak, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. You
No,
were
no, no.
saying
Go
something.
ahead. Go ahead.
So your question was my advice to the government. If they were to help the e-commerce sector.
Yep. What would
Okay.
the advice be? What would the advice be? What would you want to see more of in our country?
Well, in e-commerce sector, I just want the government is actually watching. They should pay more attention to our logistics. They should be able to help us with the logistics as well. And also cross-border transaction. The Philippines is actually losing. So you can imagine, shipment can be done from China to Malaysia using e-packet in 7 to 10 days. But there's no e-packet from China to Philippines. That takes 50 days. And to think that both two nations are actually friends in e-commerce sector is kind of hurtful. So I think cross-border and importation services should improve because that will enable more products to come into the country. And with more products, more buying and selling, the company improves. So two major points here. The logistics needs to be fixed. Imagine we don't even have a real-time rate. In the US, in Shopify, you can connect DHL and they give you the exact rate of your product just by the weight. So you can have real-time actual shipping fee. But here there's none. The couriers are not that techy to integrate with Shopify, provide real-time rate. It's kind of messy in the logistics area. That's the main thing that we're lacking. There could be more investment in tech area that will help logistics, integrate with these platforms and make it easy for entrepreneurs. I think that's going to be a very good thing for us. And importation, help brands, that import a lot of items,
Yeah.
make it easy for them to get goods in, and so they can sell
Mm.
more, and the Filipinos can keep buying online and all that. So for me, those 2 points are just what I'm gonna say about it when it comes to government intervention.
I love that. And how many people do you have right now in your team?
OGMD as a whole. Because
Yeah,
right now,
yeah. Oh,
when you say OGMD, I like to be more specific because we're releasing more than 6 apps. So when you say which one, I tend to ask you which one is it the dropshipping? Is it this app? Is it this one? So as a whole, I think
as a whole.
as a whole we're more than 50. I think all passing 50, all visual actually. We
Yeah.
don't because of the pandemic, right? So most
Yeah,
of them
yeah,
work
yeah.
from home. Some of them are
Yeah.
even OFW. So we're clocking
Really?
close to 50. Yeah, OFWs. And
Okay.
fun fact, 99 of them are all women. They're all moms. So
Wow.
the only guy is me and the guy
Who's
in
doing
charge
the
of.
hiring?
No, mom, lady is doing the hiring. I think you should
Okay.
be held responsible for that. But basically, I'm the guy, and then my CTO, the technology officer, is also a guy. So those are the two guys right now. The rest are moms and
All moms and women.
all moms. Yeah, because we hire from Filipino home based mom. If you know MK, she's one of our oldest oldest friends in giving us visual assistance. So we just kept to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. So you're helping a lot of people with what you're doing right now cuz around 50 would probably what? They would probably have a family of at least 3.
Yeah,
So
they're
that's
all
what? That's
moms. Yeah.
around right? So that's around 200 lives that you're impacting or probably more. And also with the solutions that you guys are providing. What do you think is a struggle that you're having right now for you as an empire builder, as someone who's leading Wakanda? What's a king's common problem, right? What's an empire problem that you're trying to solve right now within your team that if solved could potentially help you help more people?
Hmm. Well, basically, the first major problem we had is um, customer service. There was actually we had two problems. Number one was the customer service, which was pretty much not good in the last few months before we launched the Vibranium. So our customer service was not really up to par because people were expecting more from us, and everybody knows that I took the blame for that. And but
Yeah.
now we have improved that, and that also helped our growth when it comes to customer. Although we're still improving. The second one or the second problem is our tech and our systems. Before we rebranded to Wakanda, I'm gonna tell you the reason we changed to Wakanda later when you
Okay.
ask the question.
Yeah, yeah.
So our tech wasn't good then, our system wasn't good. And if there are people watching it who were using OGMD around before the pandemic, because when the pandemic hit, OGMD was operating. We're the only ones dropshipping company operating. And then the influx was times 100. So they pumped
Mm.
into the system and my system crashed. And that
Wow.
meant that imagine um, around May or around I know before May, April, May, let's say we had 10,000 orders, only 60% was captured by the system. So
Oh.
translate that to the store owners, they were kind of pissed, seriously pissed, and they were
Yeah.
all ranting on Facebook. I get it. I
Yeah.
apologize to everyone. So that was one of the problem we had, but that's the drive now. We solved that problem when it comes to system, and we're building more to expand it. So it's not yet solved, but these are the two things that we're solving, and it's helping us grow both local and international as well.
I love that because I know you have a big vision for Wakanda for OGMD. Talk to me about that. You know, customer service. You said customer service earlier. What do you think are things that you'd like to see more of in your team in terms of customer service?
Well, with the current work in progress, we're I mean, before our response rate was really bad, actually,
Mm,
and I don't know, but there was a little problem in the back end. But
yeah.
we're kind of fixing it now, and the response rate is better. The clients are, they're responding positively.
This is in
So
terms of chat. Is this in terms of chat, right?
with chat, emails, and
Yeah.
anything customer service was pretty
Yeah.
slow in the last months when we had that problem. But it's something that has been fixed, and we're slowly expanding the customer service region to, accommodate everyone as well.
Good, good. So you know you're handling these sections in your businesses. When you talk about customer service, how important is this? Because you're seen as a model, as a role model for a lot of people, and you know there are a lot of people who would just go for e-commerce and they would just go for the bucks. You know, they would just
Mm,
go for easy money. But we all know
mm.
there isn't any easy money, and you know, as hard as it may seem, there are a lot of people, and we understand this, that they would even take advantage of other Filipinos and take advantage of other people. Number one, in terms of the quality of the products that they're giving. Number two, in terms of how they rip people off with the
Mm.
pricing strategies that they do. And maybe number three, with how they respond and how they inappropriately respond to their customers. How important is giving the right customer experience to your market?
It's very important because OGMD can be as big as a dinosaur, and with a bad customer service, we can go down in one day. So
Yeah.
customer service is really important. It's one of the most things that defines an empire, and we're not taking that lightly.
Mm.
So for me, it's top priority. It has to keep improving because that is the face of OGMD. That's what people know us as. Not the apps, not nothing. It's about how we respond to customer inquiries. That's going to define the empire's image in public. So it's really really important to me. I don't joke with it one bit.
Mm.
I don't.
That's a non-negotiable for you.
It's not negotiable.
Yeah, I love, you know, I love that kind of thinking because it's disappointing, you know, as hard as I don't want to say it, but it is disappointing that you know you get to chat to some people, you get to purchase a product, but then the customer service sucks. No matter how good the product is,
Mm,
if the way you handle and deal with your customers isn't really quality, isn't that good, might as well just have a one night stand with them, but you're never gonna get them back. Would you agree with
yeah,
that?
yeah, that's
Right.
totally correct. Yeah.
Yeah, but for OJMD, I think you guys are after the long term customers. They're after people who would come back for the brand, who would trust the brand, who would really come back for the service and the experience. How important is human connection in a world of automation? Okay, in a world where everything is automated now, even when you go and chat, let's say a Facebook page, you
Mm,
wouldn't know if you're chatting a person
if you will,
or or a bot.
mm.
Okay, and you know I have friends who also you know they have chat bots and all of these in their stores, but how important is having human connection in the middle of automation?
Well, it, how am I gonna put it? Human
What's your
connection
take?
is, for me, it's really important, especially Filipinos like that. They like to connect with each other. But I think the whole thing is driven also by the pandemic, right? So that's one of the main drivers of this automation that you see. But still, even if you have a lot of bots in your system, there should be a human interaction because most of the deals are, if you ask the big guys here, they always have people who manage their page because the
Yeah.
bot can do so much. There's a point where the bot cannot even do more. So a human has to step in. So for me, I'm still gonna say, if you're gonna give me a percentage, I'm gonna put it at 40% automation, 60% human connection, depending on the
It's
model of your
fair.
yeah, depending on the model of your business. Let's take e-commerce or pages, no? For example, if I'm managing a page and I set a bot, I'm selling an item. A Filipino who is buying would like to know more about the specs, even ask for pictures. And the AI that we have in Facebook or chatbot is not that advanced to step in as a human would. And what if the Filipino starts speaking Tagalog? Because the AI can do much in English. So that's my point here. When it comes to those kind of bots automation, human is still needed because they want to know the specs. They want to ask, do you have a physical store? They want to see videos of the product. No, there's some things that the bots cannot do. That's why a human should be there on standby. Because the bot, for me, I see the bot as a lead grabber. So it's like what do you call it? Have you seen people offloading bricks from a truck? No, I saw them in
Yeah,
warehouses. Yeah, like that. So the bot jobs is to grab the whole customer's attention, and then one
yeah.
is done grabbing, throw it to you, the human, to close the deal. With that, you get more conversions in your page. But there are some places where you have automations. Bot can do it 50 or 60% of it, even 80% of it, depending on the model. But looking at Facebook pages and e-commerce buying and selling here in the country, I'm still gonna stick to 60% 40 in favor of human connection.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people, hey, if you're watching right now and you're getting value, please comment. Comment value. Comment the word value. If you guys are learning tonight, comment down below the word value. If you are learning tonight, you are still tuned into the virus with the Josh, and my guest for today is none other than Odera Joseph. He is the founder of OJMD. Hey, let's talk about a few things. I want to talk about things that entrepreneurs should avoid. If you can give me earlier, I asked for specific things that entrepreneurs should have, right?
Mm.
Now, can you give me three things of the opposite? What are three things that entrepreneurs should not have or should avoid to have whenever they're starting or whenever they are already at the point of expanding, scaling their e-commerce empire?
Okay, if you're starting, one of
Yeah.
the things you should avoid is comparing yourself with others. When people come to me and say, "Sir," I might post screenshots. Before I usually post a lot of things, but now it's screenshot is nothing anymore. It just there's a level you get, you just forget about screenshots. But when screenshots are being posted, people are wow by the screenshot. They want to be
They
like
see
that.
millions. They see millions
Yeah,
of screenshots.
I wanna get 12 million in sales. I wanna get like this person. But what you forget is that that person is at level 20 and you're level 1. So
Wow.
if you're starting, you cannot compare yourself with someone who was hostile before more than you, because that 20 million you're seeing is not the first screenshot. The first one could be minus 20 million, minus negative. But the person, you don't know the struggle of that screenshot. You don't know the blood that was done to get that screenshot in the positive region. So don't compare yourself with a screenshot if you're going to start, because that's going to pull you down. Because if you don't get to that area, if you don't see that result that you saw on the screenshot, you're likely to quit. That's
Mm.
number one thing you should avoid if you're starting. And number two is patience. Patience. I don't know. Patience. This is something that everyone who started e-commerce lacks. And the reason is people start e-commerce and they expect magic to happen. This is 2020. It's not 20. In 2016, you can put up something and sell it like lightning, but not now. A lot of people are in the business. Brands, Lazada is
Yeah.
there. Pandemic shut down a lot of businesses, so a lot of them are coming in. So if you're coming in as well, I'm not saying you're not going to succeed, but you need patience, man, because if you don't have it, you're just going to drop out of the train. There's some number two things that you should avoid. Don't be impatient. Don't be impatient. Just have
Yeah.
to, you know, calm down and follow the process. It's a process. It works. You just have to follow it as well. So for me, those are the two things that a beginner should avoid. Number three, is you don't know your goal. You don't some have a vision. If you don't have a vision, you're gonna fail. Some of them enter the e-commerce. They don't even know why they're doing it. Someone will
Mm-hmm.
ask
Yeah.
me in the group last time they posted, I need motivation. I tell the person, ask yourself, why do you want to even do e-commerce? Some people may say to me, I want to do e-commerce because my family needs money, my mom is in the hospital. I'm like, don't do it because if you don't have the capital to spend on ads and you cannot, if you're planning to use the whole money that you save for your family or the problem your family is having now, you enter e-commerce with it. I don't think you should get into it. Because I told them you can't because e-commerce is something that you do with an extra capital. It's not something you do with the last drop of money in your pocket.
Mm.
All right. I
Mm.
know I mentioned I took risks, but I already started. I just needed money for ads then. I used my tuition
Yeah.
fee, but that was not my
Yeah.
capital. So if you don't have a goal, if you don't have a vision, if you don't even know why you're doing it, don't just open a Shopify store because that's a bad trade. That's starting on the wrong foot. So these three things that you should not even think about or you should avoid once you're about to start e-commerce. And and if you follow the process, then everything should be good as well.
Yeah. Those are simple but profound words. Hey, to everyone who's watching, three things that came from Odera's mouth. Number one, don't compare yourself to others when you're starting out or even when you are in the middle of your business already. And I
Yeah.
agree with that. I agree with that, man. Because like, you know that meme when a skinny guy would compare himself to a bigger guy, and then the bigger guy would compare himself to
yeah,
another guy who's
yeah,
bigger,
yeah.
right? It's the same thing. It's a never-ending chase of progress, right? But I think the biggest competitor that every person should have is who you were yesterday. The version of you yesterday should be your biggest competition. Like you should be better every single day. And I love that mindset. It's just validating everything that a lot of people are doing. Maybe some people here right now, you feel like you're comparing yourself to others, no? You're seeing your sales, you're seeing where you are, and this is amazing because have you ever been at a point where you compared yourself as well?
Yeah, I have. I did compare myself when I was starting. Sometimes I still compare myself with others, but it's there. It's like temptation. You just have to keep guarding yourself against it because once you start comparing, you lose
Yeah.
focus on what you should be improving. That's gonna be a problem for you because you might be there. The person you're comparing might not even be close to you, but because you're busy comparing yourself, the person might
Mm.
now overtake you, and then before you find out, you lost or you're now way down below the line. So
Yeah.
it's good to avoid it most times.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I teach my students, my trainees. Whenever I train people, I always tell them, don't compete, dominate. Right? And when we say dominate, you're not competing against other people. You're dominating your own sector, your own space, meaning you're focusing on yourself, right? Because the more that you focus on your numbers and not the numbers of others, then you compete with who you were yesterday. You compete with your results last month. You compete with your results last week, yesterday, right? And when you said don't be impatient, but when you say don't be impatient, is there also a virtue in being impatient? Because I know a lot of people will say, hey, patience is a virtue, but sometimes people use patience to wait too long and not do anything. Is that different?
Well, it's more like a two-edged sword. I think
Mm,
know when to be patient and know when
yeah.
to not be patient. So it's a two-edged sword actually. So like they were starting, you don't have to don't be too, I don't know, maybe patient is not the good word, but hasty or something. But for me, I'm gonna see it as a two-edged sword because there's a time to be patient, there's a time to grab it. So it's all about you analyzing the situation and find out when to be patient and when not to be.
Good, good. And like going back to the vision part, because this is what people see. So let's talk about the vision, Odera. Where do you see your business, all your businesses as a whole, OJMD as a whole? Where do you see yourself in 10 years, and I'm going to go 10 years, I'm not going to go with 5, but I want
Mm.
to ask you, would you still be doing what you're doing in 10 years?
In 10 years, I don't see. I mean, in 10 years, I don't see myself even running Shopify stores anymore because
Okay, what are you
Shopify,
doing?
basically, what I see myself doing in 10 years is just expanding OJMD worldwide. So basically,
Worldwide. Yeah.
that's what I see myself doing, which we're slowly doing right now because some of our apps are going to be used by worldwide Shopify users. So I want to establish OJMD in as many countries as possible as I can, especially the drop shipping. So that's why me running Shopify stores right now is just when I have to record something or teach people, because you have to practice the game. If you stop it, it's like math. If you don't do it, it just get away from you. So I have to stay up the game with the Facebook ads and everything. So in 10 years, I see myself running a team where all we're thinking about is, can OGMD enter Malaysia? Can OGMD enter not China? Can OGMD enter Australia? Can OGMD enter USA? That's the idea I have in the next 10 years. With bright minds around me, we're trying to,
Wow.
expand the system that we have to more people. But Philippines is going to be our home base as always.
Yeah, come on, come on. I see that and I feel that when you say that. Hey, Odera, I like doing role play whenever I train sales teams. I do this thing called role play. So let's practice that, Odera, because I'm
Mm,
quite curious. Let's pretend that the year is 2030. All right.
okay.
And
All right.
I'm gonna bring you in my show again. Obviously, I got a better studio. All right. I'm gonna bring you in and I'm gonna ask you, Odera, how are you right now? Tell me, how has it been over the past 10 years? Can you tell me what you have accomplished?
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's a good one. Okay. Well, I'm
You
gonna
say,
be
you say,
like,
hey, the Josh. Come on, say it. Pretend,
okay,
pretend,
okay.
pretend.
Okay, let's go. Hey, there, Josh. Yeah, it's been a long time. Our last webinar our last interview was 10 years ago, right? Okay, right now, OJMD is currently in almost 15 countries, mostly in African nations. We're expanding e-commerce and dropshipping. And we've gone to develop more than 50 or 20 to 30 systems or plugins for Shopify users, and we're also working on launching our payment gateway, which should be available by 20, 2032 or something. But that's what we're working on. But currently, yeah, we're just trying to penetrate Africa because we know e-commerce is lacking there. So that's what we're doing now. And obviously, improving the Philippines e-commerce. So remember what I told you last 10 years, Philippines e-commerce and logistics has improved right now. So it's really amazing, and we're happy to play a part in that. This is a role play, right? Just kidding.
Keep going, man. Keep going. You're doing
Okay,
good.
yeah, I think that's
How many
good. That's
how many
good
people do
enough.
you have now? How many people do you have now, Adara?
Yeah, well, basically worldwide, we have more than 10,000 employees or
Oh
team
yeah.
working. Most of them are in Africa, obviously. So
Wow. Come on, man. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's a vision right there. Cause come on, hey, if you guys got that, this is a man. I'm talking to a man with a big vision of dominating the e-commerce space. Dominating meaning not putting others down, but focusing on himself, helping others in the process. And I think that's what makes a great empire. It's when your empire focuses on building itself from the inside out. Odera, I have a few photos that I'd like to share to you. Give me a bit of a
Okay.
description of what's happening here, and tell me what's going on during these times, and maybe you can share to us what's a word or a thought that comes in your head when you think of this one right
I didn't know
here.
you had. I didn't know you had pictures. So that's fine.
Yeah, we got you, man. We got you.
Okay. This was the first time I spoke to an audience
Mm,
in the Philippines, and this was in Pampanga, I believe. And behind me is always my brothers, Cristory Cabral and Ray Caligigan. Those two actually were the first people to invite me to speak or to join them in a webinar. So yeah, that was the first time I was speaking, and to tell you, I was very nervous here because people were expecting to see a 6'4" black guy, and all they were expecting is something. They were expecting something. You're a foreigner, right? So obviously, all eyes on you. I was pretty much nervous here, and I think what I was teaching them was Google Ads. Yeah, I believe. I think that was a few years ago. Yeah, that's all about this picture.
I
It's a
love that.
nice memory, though.
Wait, how long ago? How long ago is this?
I 2 or 3 years, but yeah, I think 2 years ago. If I'm gonna check on Facebook on the date, but I think 2 or 3 years.
Good. These are good memories. These are good memories, and I'm pretty sure when you face a bunch of strangers and everyone's trying to judge you, was it nerve wracking for you? Was it? Did it make you really nervous?
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, it was never for me speaking to them and hoping that they will understand. But I don't think they were trying to judge you because, here in the Philippines, when you're a foreigner, nobody's actually judging you. It's like they look to expect something as a foreigner
Yeah,
from you. So that was what I was thinking. I might not
you
be
were
able to
pressured. You were
deliver.
pressured.
Yes, yes, that was a major thing here. But yeah, it went well that day, though.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Okay. Next photo, and this one's a bit personal. Okay. See,
Okay.
the way we do it here in the virus, we stalk our guests. Okay.
Yeah, I was
So,
shocked
you,
when they had pictures. You didn't
you
tell me
you've
that.
you've been stalked already. All right. So I
Okay,
got this
okay,
from your public photos. What about this one? Describe this to us.
okay. One
But
word.
give me one word. One word for that.
Wakanda forever.
Okay. That's two words. You got two words then.
Okay, I don't know.
Tell,
Just
tell us
I don't know.
about the journey. You're an entrepreneur, a student, and a dad, and a Wakanda king. How hard is it?
I don't know, man. It's overwhelming, but still, amazing and something that gives you joy. Actually, especially these two Wakanda. Actually, the name. One of them is T'Challa. The other one is Jabari. They have Wakanda names. Both of them.
Really?
Yeah, I gave them Wakanda names actually.
You,
So
you were
yeah,
really you were really obsessed with that.
yeah, I am,
Who?
and
Okay,
that's
so
it.
who's Joe's and Seth?
Uh, this is a dilemma because sometimes I don't even know them, but I think
Yeah, you're not sure.
I'm
You're
not
not
sure
sure. You're not
honestly.
sure.
Sometimes, but I think the one on
Your partner's gonna kill you.
the she doesn't know actually. She doesn't know sometimes. We just have to check, but they had a birthmark behind her,
Okay.
so I have to check there to know who is who. But I believe the one on the left should be Joe. That's T'Challa because he's the first. So it's like king.
Hmm.
But
What
the
does that
other
mean?
one
What?
is T'Challa. It's more like that's the name of the Wakanda king, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So we just use that,
From
especially
from the
after he
movie.
died.
From the movie.
Yeah.
All right, I love this. Okay, what about this one? This one more of a business photo.
Okay.
Describe this.
This is I don't know. It's our it's the launching of the vibranium. In one word,
What's
it's
what's
just
what's the vibranium? Give me one word for that.
vibranium. It's I don't know. Another word is wait, let me think. The strong is a basic word. I'm gonna say um,
You're
invisible or something. It's why I get strong.
invincible,
I see the stronghold. Yeah, something like
indestructible,
yeah,
indestructible.
yeah, like that. So this picture
Okay.
was when we're trying to launch the new Vibranium app here in the Philippines.
What's the version now? Is it still 3.0?
Yeah, 3.0.
Yeah, good, good. I'm getting a lot of value here, specifically trying to get your personality. Because how are you? How are you as a boss to your team? What do you think would how would they describe you if you were them? Are you
I,
good? Are you approachable? Are you what? Are you strict?
I'm not really that strict, but it's more like 50-50. I'm approachable. I'm fun.
Yeah.
I laugh a lot. I make jokes, but they also know when to, you know, when there's a line. You draw a line when it comes to. They know when I'm serious. They know when I'm kidding. So there's no problem there. So when we're out, we have fun. We have get-togethers. But when it's time for business, they know it's business. And in
Mhm.
Wakanda, business is business. So that's
You
how we
you
do
would you would
it.
you would kill to defend your empire.
Yeah. So that's how that's the mentality we have actually.
All right, all right. Well, I think this is the question that we've all been waiting for. Why
Uh,
is it Wakanda?
okay. So let's start with the
Okay,
nation. Nobody. Okay.
besides you being from Nigeria and trying to look like Chad, right? So why is it Wakanda?
Well, it's from the name. When that movie came out, when that movie came out in 20, I don't know, last 2 or 3 years ago, it gave us, the black community, it gives us a meaning. It's more like Marvel hit us hard in the home, so they hit home. They gave us like representation. We were so happy to see Marvel representing Africa in that way. And the fact is that they try to use as many tribes as possible in that movie, even my
Mhm.
country, Nigeria. So from that day, I started loving the nation, even if it's fictional. And secondly, I incorporated it into OJMD because this was not our color before we changed. We recently
Yeah.
changed everything. I
What was
incorporated
your
it
color
because
before?
nobody kind of that blue or something,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Wakanda is part of a river. So what
yeah.
I
Mm.
use that Wakanda because nobody has ever been to Wakanda except the Wakandans. So I see it like it's like setting, I don't know, setting a level. Like if you want to be to Wakanda, it's like come find me. So I want to set a bar, a it's like setting a benchmark. So if you want to, it's like come get me, come catch me. So you've not been to Wakanda, you don't know what it is like up here. So if you can, come to Wakanda. So that's why I use that name. Wakanda, nobody has been there except us. So it's more like a bar. That's how I keep it, and that's how we kept the mentality inside the company as well.
You're trying to make something that's just in the movies become a reality with your business right now. And that's something that's definitely, something to look up to. Are you proud of your accomplishments?
Well, some of them, yes, but because it's not complete yet, not 100%. But yes, I'm really happy of what we've done. I'm proud. Actually, launching an application in Shopify store was one of my bucket list. Right from the day I discovered Shopify, I want to be the first to put a dropshipping app in the. I mean, launch a app. That was the next initial thought. I'm gonna put an app on Shopify. But since we started dropshipping, so I changed to I want to be the first to put a dropshipping app on Shopify, and I was able to do that. So that made me actually proud to represent Philippines on the Shopify because in the Shopify there are few apps made in the Philippines, but I was happy to make sure that we have a Filipino-made application listed on Shopify for the whole world to see. So that was in bucket list, and I was really proud that it was done
Yeah,
and yeah, I was proud of that one. Very proud.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So this photo right here, is this the entire team?
Nice loading. No, that's not. Some of them. This is
Some of
just a
them, yeah.
mix of our team members and our event attendees. This was an event on the last day of an event. So
I see.
it's all of them are not our team members. Some of them attended an event. Some of them are still our team members. But everyone is wearing the OJMD and the Wakanda signs. That's our old logo you see there. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
So you changed it. It's kind of like a flag now.
yeah.
Right. I love that. Okay. Final words for people and to all your supporters and to all your customers and clients who are watching and tuned in right now. We're already in quarter four. What are the final words that you have for all the e-commerce entrepreneurs that we have here?
Well, obviously it's Q4, right? So it's going to be a bunch of sales and a bunch of RTS. So my final words is, um, first you have to entrepreneurs, actually, those who are actually running ads or doing the business now. You just have to make sure that you're prepared, stock wise, inventory wise, and be ready for handling your RTs and returns, and have a good customer service, because that's what's going to happen in Q4. And to those planning to start, Q4 is a very good time to start. Ironically, everything almost sells in Q4. So if you're thinking of starting and you're thinking that Q4 is not a good time, it is. It's one of the best times. It's like launching your business on Black Friday. It's a good time to start. So if you're planning to start, make sure you have a good plan, drop everything, and just enter the business. Forget about the risk or whatever. Just do it. And to the advertisers, I'm just gonna say, may the force be with you, because you are being hit by CPMs right now. So let's just all I'm gonna say to the fellow advertisers is, I hope we all survive this into the Q4. But yeah, I think this Q4 is gonna be one of the biggest, considering the COVID impact. Everybody's gonna
Yeah.
shop online, so I'm really looking forward to see what's gonna happen from now to the end of 2020.
I love that. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you are still tuned in and you're watching right now, I have ODERA Joseph from the Empire, the Wakanda Empire of OJMD. And I'm so happy to have him here. He's giving so much value. ODERA, this is such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. To everyone who tuned in, thank you guys for tuning in to The Virus. We have ODERA Joseph again from OJMD. This show is every Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. If you guys would like to learn more about this kind of value, please do not forget to check VoiceBox out for you guys to check a lot of things. ODERA, where can they find you? Where can they find you?
Well, I'm easy to find. Just type ODERA JOSEPH on Google, and you have
Oh,
me.
no, not in Wakanda. How can they find you on Facebook?
Yeah, just my name, ODERA JOSEPH. You can just type
Yeah.
it on Facebook. You can Google it. You can find
Yep.
it easily. Yeah, it's easy. Unless you're planning to come to Wakanda, there's no ticket. You have to you have to find a way to
Yeah.
get there at your own risk.
Yeah. At your own risk. I love that. Hey guys, this is Adara Joseph from Wakanda. You can find him on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook too. Voicebox. Check the page out. We have a huge challenge going on. It's called the Louder Challenge. To everyone who is like Odera, who wants to make an impact, do not forget to join the free challenge. 7 weeks of constant learning in our group. It's Voicebox. You can check that out on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/louder challenge. Again, my name is the Josh, and I have Odera Joseph. Thank you guys for tuning in. Odera,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. God bless everyone, and have a great night. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Bye, guys.